Top of the league, top of the league. Hello everyone, Cherries Red Army, match day 9, AFC Bournemouth versus Luton, back at home, Vitality Stadium, 3 p.m. on Saturday. In this match preview, we're going to take a look at this fixture in more detail. We'll also get a Luton fan on to give us an opposition view, and I'll also have a Cherries fan to help me try and predict Scott Parker's starting 11. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, also smash the like and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Let's get on with a preview. The Cherries go into this fixture then top of the league and points clear, and that's because we got an excellent 1-0 away win at Cardiff in match day 8. A lot of quality performances all over the pitch again, including Ben Pearson, who came into the lineup to give us extra bite. We know we got quality going forwards, and the goal, the one and only goal in the game, would come through Phil Billing, his third league goal of the season and our first goal outside the 18-yard box. 1,300 Cherries fans went home from Wales, taking the 3 points, very happy. Back at home though, in this game, do you know that AFC Bournemouth has scored at least 2 goals in each of their home games? And if we can take an early lead, hopefully we can win this game also comfortably. Luton going into this game though are off the back of 4 consecutive draws, but in match day 8 against Swansea, they were 3-0 up at half time, but ended up drawing the game 3-3. Now we've got Luton fan Billy coming on to give us an opposition view. Has he recovered from match day 8? And a warm welcome to Cherries Red Army is Billy Mully from @Oak_Road_Hatter on Twitter, the Oak Road Hatter podcast. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I think Swansea's taken me back a little bit, but yeah, I'm sure we'll get to that in a second.
And did you want to introduce your podcast to the viewers for anyone who hasn't seen it before? The details will be in the description, and maybe what content you have coming up for this fixture.
Yeah, sure. So I run the @Oak_Road_Hatter podcast. There's 4 of us. 3 of us are students or recently graduated from university, and the other one's a good friend of the show as well. And we started it as a website and expanded to a podcast. And yeah, we generally preview fixtures, touch on the fixture before, but if it's a loss, we don't like to talk about it too much. But yeah, we aim for a episode a week. Hope sometimes if it's a good week, we'll put 2 up.
This preview then, match day 9, and Luton finished 12th last season. This season, after 8 games, they're 13th, 10 points, 1-2, drawn 4, lost 2. Your current form guide is loss, draw, draw, draw. Some consistency there in the draws, but how do you feel it's gone so far?
Yeah, it's been an interesting start to the campaign. Highs of beating Peterborough 3-0 on the opening day. It gave us perhaps a little bit of false hope that we could go on and enjoy a good start, a playoff push early on in the season, but then the lows of Birmingham, which was a 5-0 defeat, obviously one of the standout results probably of the whole season so far. But in general, 13th, we'll take that because we're trying to be a bit more expansive this year, recruiting athletic players to compete with the likes of Bournemouth, with the likes of West Brom as well, the teams that are expected to be up there come the end of the season. So it's a steady start. 4 draws in our last 4 games. It's quite a weird one for us because we don't tend to draw games in the Championship. We don't have the it's a thing that's quite uncommon with Luton. So yeah, it's quite strange to possess that many draws after 8 games of the season.
So it was a bad day at home versus Birmingham a few weeks ago, but let's go back to last weekend and let me read this out to you, Billy. So it was Luton versus Swansea. 7th minute, Luton score. 15th minute, Luton score. 23rd minute, Luton score. I'm sure you're enjoying a pie at half time. Second half, 63rd minute, Swansea score. 86th minute, Swansea score. 92nd minute, Swansea score. I have one question, Billy. What happened?
I don't know if it's more painful actually being at the match or hearing it read back like that, because it was just such a mad game. It had everything. The proverbial game of two halves, because Luton was so dominant in that first half. Swansea were trying to play out from the back. Our press was unbelievable. I tweeted at half time that our fitness levels are absolutely insane. And at that point, I really couldn't see Swansea coming out and even scoring a goal, let alone mounting a comeback like they did. And then, to be fair, Swansea came out, played very well. A big deflection led to the opening goal for them. And similarly, Oliver Nitcham struck a brilliant effort, but again, has taken a big deflection. And then Joel Pirro, excellent finish. I think he's going to be some player this season. But in terms of what Luton can do about that, there was a lot. We lost our press, which ultimately led to them having a lot of time outside the box. 3 goals from outside the box, which was just did not see that coming. And yeah, it ended what could have been a really, really productive day at the office. I mean, we could have gone on to win that quite convincingly. But yeah, fair play to Swansea, though. They came out in the second half and shown what they're really all about.
In 3 of your games, I think, this season, you conceded 2 goals in the first half. And I think Bournemouth at home has scored 2 goals in almost every game. Is this a concern for you going into this fixture?
Certainly, yeah, definitely against a team like Bournemouth. If you give the Cherries a sniff, they'll take it. And that's exactly what I'm concerned about in this game. I think the longer the game prolongs, as the game progresses, if we're still in it, if it's 0-0, 1-0, then I'll fancy us to go and get something out of it. But I think with Luton, there's been a tendency sometimes to be out of games when you really, really shouldn't be. And with Bournemouth as well, with the attack you've got, it's frightening just to mention the names, let alone to actually have to defend against them. And I think with Luton as well, the difficulty with it is that we've had so many players injured, and I don't want to make excuses, because obviously you can only defend with what you've got, and that's not going to change with me making excuses. But we started the season with our 4th and 5th choice centre-backs. Our first choice centre-backs barely got in a position to play in Sonny Bradley. It looked like he'd recovered, and then something else has happened. So it's quite comical the way it's happened, these injuries. But at the same time, we do have competent defenders that shouldn't be conceded like we did against Swansea. But yeah, I think that's one. The Bournemouth attack, is something that I fear personally.
But Nathan Jones, he'll be looking to come to the Vitality Stadium and get something. He would have seen Blackpool come back from 2-0 down earlier on in the season. So what players will you be looking to, Billy, to try and give you a chance, maybe get a goal? We know the likes of Harry Cornick is local to Bournemouth. He'll always fancy this fixture. I think Luke Berry's your top goal scorer. And Adebayo, did he get a goal at the weekend as well? Who are you looking to try and give you a chance on Saturday?
Certainly those 3 players. And the funny thing about them is they were so influential at the weekend, and you probably add Pelly Ruddock into there as well. But they're players that have come with us since our League 2 days. I know Adebayo wasn't with us, but he was playing 4th tier football last season. And that's something that's perhaps not exciting, but it is something that we can be proud of, that we've developed these players into that kind of stature. And I think they could definitely, all 4 of them, cause problems, because the way that they press, it's those 4 that caused so many problems at the weekend against Swansea. And I think possessing a similar style of play that's possession-based as Swansea, I see this as a game that we could perhaps press like we did there and maybe get some rewards, but it also could be something where we have to change the system as quick as possible.
You did take 4 points off of AFC Bournemouth last season. You did beat us at the Vitality Stadium, but how are you feeling about this fixture? Do we get a score prediction out of you, Billy?
Well, yeah, it's strange how it unfolded last season. I think we kept 2 clean sheets. The first game was 0-0 at Kenilworth Road, which was a game that could have potentially gone either way. I think we both created enough chances to go and win the game, but also I think a win either side probably wouldn't have been the best reflection. And then at the Vitality Stadium, it was an excellent win, probably the win of the season for us because of the size of Bournemouth and because of the fact that we don't tend to win too many away games against top teams. So in that respect, it was a brilliant performance. Keenan Dewsbury Hall getting the goal. Obviously, he's not with us anymore as much as we would like. But I think this time around, it's going to be a much more difficult test. I can't see a game pan out unless there is an early red card or something that completely changes the complex of the game. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 Bournemouth win.
Always feels weird when someone calls us a top team, but we definitely will take it, and we are top of the league. So it's a good feeling at the moment at Bournemouth. It's been great to have you on though, Billy, and hopefully any Luton fans coming down have safe travels. Hope you enjoy the game, Billy, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks to Billy there for giving us an opposition view. Also check out Oak Road Hatter podcast as they have their own preview content, and Cherries Red Army contributed on there for a Bournemouth point of view. Going into this game, the head-to-heads last 6 between the teams are slightly in favour of the Cherries with 2 wins, 3 draws and 1 loss. But as discussed with Billy, Luton were one of the teams that we didn't beat last season with a draw at Kenilworth Road and a loss at the Vitality Stadium. So what will Scott Parker do to try and get a victory in this game? I caught up with Jon Spark. We tried to predict Scott Parker's starting 11 for this game. Hi John, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good, thanks Kirk. It's a good week, always a good day when you're on top of the league.
And on Saturday, Scott Parker, slightly before 2 o'clock, is going to hand over his team sheet for this fixture. And we're going to try and predict this lineup, John. Now, as you'll probably see on the screen, I've already pre-populated some of the team. And let's just move from the goalkeeper. Travers, Smith, Cahill, Kelly and Samura. That back 4 again. Should we put a few mentions in there? Do you feel a bit sorry for Chris Mepham and Jack Stacey that they're not getting a game at the moment?
Yeah, I do feel a bit for Mepham because I really don't feel he's put a foot wrong, to be honest, since the start of this season for us. Did really well, had to play right back for a long period and, did his job admirably. But unfortunately, Gary Cahill's just one of those guys that once he's in, is going to be very difficult to take out because of the qualities he brings. And then I really feel as though Stacey has got a lot still to offer. But just Smith seems to be a favourite of pretty much any manager that comes in. I think Stacey's height might have put him in instead of Smith last weekend, but Smith seems to be more defensive these days, doesn't bowl on quite as much and doesn't get the ball as much when he's further up the field. So, he provides a bit more of a balance to Zamura's bombing on over on the left-hand side.
Don't expect the goalkeeper or defence to change. And let's move up the field then. And against Cardiff, we played a 2 pivot, should we say, with Ben Pearson and Jeff Lerma. But let's go for this game at home. I'm expecting a 1 pivot. Now that potentially could be Lerma. Let's come back to that in a minute. Phil Billing to play ahead. When Phil Bill scores, we don't lose football matches. Jaden Anthony, I'm sure, will keep his place on the left and Dom Solanke up top. Are you happy with that at the moment?
Yeah, no reason to change any of those, and a bunch of those players are in really good form, and there's no reason to take them out.
Couple of questions for you now, then, John. Do we potentially go Christie inside with Brooks right, or does Lerma potentially play more advanced like he has done previously at home with Ben Pearson coming back in?
So this is the versatility that having such a great squad and a squad of such depth will afford Scott Parker. And in a game like Cardiff, a double pivot made a hell of a lot of sense. In this game against Luton, I'm not sure he's going to be quite that defensively minded, or rather want to focus so much on having the kind of physicality of both Lerma and Pearson sort of being the more defensive-minded midfielders, I'm more inclined to believe that Christie's going to be shifted into his preferred central role, and that will allow Brooks to come back in on the right-hand side. And given that Brooks now has, genuine competition on that right-hand side, if Christie can shift to either position, but Brooks should have something to prove now, because he really does have competition. And if he doesn't perform, you could easily see Christie kept there permanently, and Brooks just coming in to try and make an impact off the bench, because there's enough central midfield options that you don't have to play Christie there. Marcondes can come in, Lerma can be there, Stanislas can come in when he's fit, Lewis Cook's going to be coming back soon. Brooks has got something to show now, and I'm hoping he'll do that this weekend.
I have to agree with this lineup. I think Christie does shift back inside, and I think Brooks comes back into the starting lineup. But is Ben Pearson going to be knocking on the door if he finds out about this lineup on Friday and go, hang on, boss, I was brilliant last Saturday?
Yeah, I think he would have a right to say that, but I believe Scott Parker's probably a good enough manager to sort of go with Pearson and say, look, in certain scenarios, I'm going to have other players ahead of you that are more attack-minded. I think Pearson, whilst he did perform well and was a great ball winner, did all the basics really well, I do find that his passing patterns, whilst he can play the odd good forward pass, are very negative. And that's fine, when you want to just be dominating the ball, but I would rather have a more attack-minded set of players playing in those 2-8 positions and allow Lerma to play deeper, who has, as far as I'm concerned, a better passing range than Pearson, when you're going to be playing against a team that, are going to be sort of combative in the way the Luton are, but you're certainly going to look to be trying to outpass them in a match.
That's our predicted lineup then for AFC Bournemouth versus Luton. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Can't let you go though, John, without getting a score prediction. What do you think will happen on Saturday?
That's a tough one. Bournemouth's defence has been a lot more impressive this season than I ever expected it to be. Obviously, Cahill has added to that, but I think just the team's work effort in general, and Jayden Anthony has I think the most tackles of a forward in the entire league, and the way that we press from the front and just work so hard that I'm not so worried about whether we're going to actually concede or not. I'm much more inclined to say that we're going to get clean sheets this season. So I think Luton have had a mixed start to this season. They certainly can produce a result, but they can also completely capitulate, apparently, given that they were 3-0 up against Swansea at half-time in last weekend and then drew 3-3. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 victory. The famous Cherries Red Army 3-1 victory.
Enjoy the game, John. Thanks for helping me on this predicted 11.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, John, for your support with the predicted 11. But did you agree with it? Would you pick someone else instead? Let us know in the comments. Bournemouth dominate possession still on average in the Championship with 57%. And we also have a good goal conversion rate of 21%. I think there will be goals in this game. And I'm going for the famous Cherries 3-1. Can we do it for the first time this season? Thank you to our monthly supporting members who contribute to help us improve our channel. It's much appreciated. If you'd like to become a monthly supporting member, you can. Just visit buymeacoffee.com/cherriesredarmy. Alternatively, you can make one-off donations. Anything is much appreciated. Hit the subscribe button. Also smash the like. Can the Cherries remain unbeaten? Can we get a 4th consecutive win in the Championship? Let's hope so. Let's hope it's a good game on Saturday. Thank you for checking out this preview. Until the next video, we'll see you soon. Up Cherries!